The empire nobody saw coming. I nearly dodged this month's family dinner, but some traps are harder to escape than a boardroom ambush. My phone was still warm from sealing a $700 million deal when I stepped into my parents' opulent estate. "Lila, sweetheart," Mom cooed, eyeing my unassuming gray hoodie and sneakers. "You look cozy." The diamond bracelet under my sleeve could have bought their zip code, but I wasn't here to flash wealth. Yet. Tech life. Dad chuckled to his golf buddies at the table. All pinstripes and smug grins. No suits, no rules. If only they knew I'd just rerouted an industry's supply chain for my car. Mom beamed at my sister, Clara, who adjusted her tailored blazer. Clara's company just hit a $1.5 billion valuation, she bragged. Could have been more, but the market's shaky. I sipped my sparkling water, hiding a smirk. My firm had triggered that market wobble by snapping up two of Clara's rivals last week. Lila's still tinkering with her. "What is it, dear?" Mom turned to me, all polite curiosity. "Just a tech venture," I said, vague as ever. My phone vibrated, probably Tokyo with the latest merger stats. I let it hum. The real show was brewing. Dad leaned forward, his CEO voice on. "Lila, it's time we talked. Let me back your project. I've been in the game 35 years. Clara snorted. She could use a real business lesson. My phone buzzed again once, twice, 5 times. "Lila," Mom sighed. "Check your phone. It could be urgent." I glanced at the screen, and my pulse spiked. Breaking. Phantom Tech exposed as global tech juggernaut. Enigmatic CEO Lila Voss unmasked as billionaire mastermind. "Everything okay?" Mom asked, catching my flicker of shock. "Issues at your little startup?" Before I could answer, the dining room doors flew open. My COO, Nadia, stormed in, clutching her tablet. "Ms. Voss, I'm sorry, but..." She froze, taking in the crystal chandeliers and stunned guests. "What's wrong, Nadia?" I asked, cool as ice, though I knew the storm had hit. "The story's out. All of it. Your net worth just crossed $9.4 billion. Mom's glass slipped, shattering on the hardwood. "Billion." Dad coughed, red-faced. "There's a mistake." Nadia didn't blink. "No mistake. Ms. Voss founded Phantom Tech. We've been under the radar for 6 years, but the press got a leak." Clara's jaw dropped. "Phantom Tech. The one gobbling up tech firms." "The same," I said, standing. "Including your top 2 competitors, Clara. Sorry about that market dip." $9.4 billion? Mom whispered. Nadia tapped her tablet. "Now, $10.2 billion. The market loves the reveal." Dad stared like I was a stranger. "You said it was a small project." "No," I corrected. "You assumed that." I just didn't argue. My phone was a war zone now. CNN, Bloomberg, a dozen CEOs. "Those work trips," Mom stammered. "You weren't pitching to investors." "I was buying companies bigger than Clara's," I said. "Sometimes 4 in a week." Nadia's tablet pinged. "Ms. Voss, BBC wants an exclusive. Also, the Australian PM is on hold." "The Prime Minister?" Dad's buddy gasped. "We're overhauling their tech grid," I said, grabbing my coat. "One of our smaller contracts." Clara choked. "Smaller?" "The Qatar deal's bigger," Nadia added. "And the ASEAN Pact." I glanced at my watch, a $1.8 million Audemars Piguet I'd kept tucked away. "Nadia, get the jet ready. We're heading to Hong Kong." "Your office is in Hong Kong?" Mom asked faintly. "One of them," I said. "We've got hubs in Zurich, Sydney, and Bogota." Dad stood, unsteady. "Lila, about my investment offer," I smiled. "Thanks, but I'm busy prepping for a G20 summit. World leaders don't like waiting." My phone buzzed. My exec team, ready for damage control. "We'll reschedule dinner," I told Mom. "Running a global empire's a bit time-consuming." "Empire?" she echoed, voice thin. "Your hobby is bigger than the top 3 tech giants combined." I paused at the door. "Thanks for the concern, though." The headlines erupted by dawn. "The Hidden Titan, Lila Voss's Phantom Tech redefines power." My Hong Kong penthouse office hummed as Nadia fielded media frenzy. Your dad's called 6 times, my assistant noted. Mom's at 10. Clara sent a desperate email. Any other family news? I asked, signing a $2 billion acquisition. Your mom's yacht club suddenly wants you as chair. They rejected you twice before. Funny how power shifts priorities, I said, smirking. The elevator chimed. Dad shuffled in, his usual polish frayed. The city glittered below, his own office a speck in my view. Lila, he started, awed. This is your local office? One of the smaller ones, I said. Hong Kong's the real show. Nadia entered. Ma'am, we just closed the semiconductor deal. We control 72% of the global market. Dad sank into a chair. Clara's firm depends on those chips. Business is business, I said, echoing his old mantra. She'll need to negotiate with us now. Mom arrived next, dressed like she was auditioning for my approval. She froze, taking in the screens tracking Phantom Tekka's global reach. Darling, she whispered. You're this? Nadia offered. Want to see her net worth now? It's up to $11 billion. Mom collapsed beside Dad. My phone buzzed, the Japanese PM. I took it on speaker. Yes, $15 billion for the AI grid. Final offer. I hung up to stunned silence. You just haggled with a prime minister, Dad muttered. Third one today, I said, checking my schedule. Clara's email popped up, begging for a chip supply meeting. Tell her to book it formally, I told Nadia. Family dinners don't cut it anymore. Dad tried again. Why didn't you tell us? Tell you what? I turned, voice sharp. That while you fawned over Clara's success, I was building a machine that runs the world. That your dismissed daughter owns the tech your lives depend on. Mom's eyes watered. We have supported you. Like when you laughed off my startup pitch? I asked. Told me to learn from Clara? Nadia interrupted.
Mom.
The UN Security Council's online too. I stood, brushing my blazer. Time to go. Empires don't run themselves. Dad reached out. Lila, we're still family. Family, I said, would have backed me when I was invisible. Not when I'm undeniable. I left them in my office, surrounded by the hum of power they'd never seen coming. Sometimes, the sweetest victory isn't just winning. It's watching the world realize you've already won.